Hi, I'm Alan Tatro with Global Sugar Art, and today I'd like to show you how to make Mexican paste. In a lot of my videos and DVDs, I talk about Mexican paste and what a wonderful medium it is to use for making lettering and small decorations and for lace pieces. So, we have our own GSA line of Mexican paste mix. This has everything you need in it except the water. Now, if you want to make your own from scratch, if you use a lot of Mexican paste, it's a very simple recipe of 8 ounces or half a pound of confectioner's sugar, 10X, and then 3 level teaspoons of gum tragacanth and 6 level teaspoons of cold water. The mix makes it a lot easier. And really, Mexican paste, you use so little of it when you use it that a bag like this will last you an awful long time. And I'll show you how you can make this last forever. So I'm just dumping everything into the bowl, and I've measured out 6 level teaspoons of cold water, and I'm just going to dump that in. Just stir this up. Now, I do find in the summertime when we have really high humidity, I'll probably start with 5 teaspoons. And if I feel it needs it, I may add another half a teaspoon or a whole teaspoon if I need it. So if you're in a warm climate with a lot of humidity in your home, if you're not using air conditioning, then start with 5 teaspoons and then just gradually add a little bit more. So this is the consistency I'm looking for. It's rather dry. It's picking up all the sugar I had in the bowl. And from here, I'm just going to put all this right onto a board. And I'm going to put a little bit of shortening on my hands, and I'm going to knead this into a nice dough. You can just pick up all the little pieces. And just knead it until it's nice and pliable. If you find it's a little soft, you can put a little bit of sugar on the board. Now, Mexican paste needs to sit overnight before it's cured and ready to use. And you don't ever want to refrigerate this. You just want to keep it at room temperature until you're ready to use it, unless you want to freeze it. And I'll talk about that more in a second. Okay, this is ready to go. I have a nice soft paste, and it's nice and smooth. So what I normally do is I'll divide this into about 5 pieces. Because when I'm using Mexican paste, for my purposes, this works out to be a nice sized piece. You could cut this up into 10 pieces and it doesn't matter. Now, Mexican paste dries very, very quickly. So, you want to protect it from the air. So I really like this press seal, but you can use any sort of a cling film or a saran wrap. Wrap this up really tight. Wrap all the balls up individually, and then put them inside another bag and leave them there. Try to get all the air out that you possibly can, and leave these on the counter overnight. You want this to cure at least 12 hours or overnight. And then the next day, what I like to do is I open them up, I knead it up, I reseal it back in a bag, and then I put them all in the freezer as little pouches like this. And when I'm ready to make some butterflies or some lettering, I just take one out. Now, these are some that I did yesterday. The reason I'm showing you this is a lot of people get to day 2 after they've made the Mexican paste and they think, oh my, I've done something wrong. Trust me, you haven't. It's very, very hard the next day. So you can see how hard that got overnight. But if I just press down on it, and you see how crumbly it is? Just knead it up a little bit. It just needs to be re-kneaded into a nice smooth paste. You can put a little bit of shortening on your hands. And you can actually knead a little bit of shortening right into it. Pick up all the little stray pieces that were on my board. And you can see that the hard mixture that I started with a minute ago has now turned into a nice, soft, pliable paste. Now, after you've re-kneaded it, you can wrap it back up, put it back in the Ziploc bag, and now you can freeze it, and it's ready to go. Now, again, when you take this out of the freezer, let it come to room temperature, and you're going to find that it's very, very hard again. So just re-knead it, use a little bit of shortening to soften it up, and you're ready to go. One of the tricks that I also find that works very well, because the outside of this dries, even with the wrapping, after I re-kneaded the product, sometimes I'll take a little bit of shortening and I'll rub the whole outside of the ball of Mexican paste with a little bit of shortening, and then I'll wrap it up. And then I'll put it in a Ziploc bag. And then when I take it out of the freezer, I have much less dry paste on the outside, and it really preserves it. You can keep it for months and months in the freezer. So that little 8-ounce bag of paste, or the mix, can really last you an awful long time if you break it up into the small pieces that you're going to use. Thank you so much.